Welcome to Entrepreneurs Anonymous Talks After Work. I am Bre.
I'm Lee, and that's why I don't do the intro because I would have forgot it.
Anyway, how you been, Lee? How you been?
I've been great. We got our first episode out there, and now we're about to get back to it. It's the fall season, so you know how the leaves fall, should money fall too. So every entrepreneur out there, so let's grow.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I have some great news to announce.
What's your news?
I made the leap. I quit my job.
Big leap.
Big leap.
That's a
Terrifying leap,
it's
but big
a it's
leap.
a hard thing to do. So like, what made you really do that? Though? Like, what made you wake up? Did you just wake up one day and was like, I need to get up out of here?
It was sort of kind of like that. It was I took a bet, right? And I thought about like they were asking us to come into the office, and I was just like, ooh, now they're like, I felt like they was really controlling my life.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of got to a point where I was like, that's not really the life that I set out for myself, right? Like I breathe entrepreneurship. Even in my work positions, I've always worked with entrepreneurs. So for me, it was just like, it just goes against everything about the whole idea of freedom of like express the freedom to express yourself, just kind of work on things you want to work on. So I was like, I can't really teach people how to be entrepreneurs
Uh huh.
if I'm not going to be an entrepreneur
Okay.
myself full time. So I was like,
You gotta
it
live it.
is. Yeah, you gotta live it. You gotta live it full time. And I figured, like, I can pay my bills as long as as long as I can pay the
Yeah, if you
minimum bills.
could
Like,
actually reestablish that income stream, I think that's the
yeah,
biggest thing about taking that leap. I know my first year out, like I shouldn't not probably have quit my
I probably
job to be
shouldn't
really
either, but it's
honest.
okay.
I had the money saved up, though I did save a lot of money up. I was doing my little 10%, then I went up to 20%. So I saved a lot of money. I had some 401k money. I still got, I should probably transfer that to another account.
Yeah.
But that's a whole nother thing. But I had some other money set aside and I had like a bad hand of spades. Anybody out there that plays spades, you know it's a bad hand. I had two and a possible customers before I got my
Mm.
studio down here downtown.
Wow.
And I was just like, it'll work out.
Yeah. So I was talking to someone I consider my mentor, and she was like, yeah, I mean, you going when rent is due, you gonna make it happen, right? So it puts that fire behind you, like, oh no, I really do got to make sales now. Like I really do
Hmm.
have to go out, talk about my business, and I kind of hit the ground running, right? Like that first weekend, I was up in Philadelphia networking with people. Then I went up to New
Oh, dang, you hit
York
the
and
road
I
already.
hit the road. I was like, it is what it is. I was like, look, I don't have a. I was like, look, I quit my job. I gotta make it happen. And I kind of just in that space of like really hands in on entrepreneurship right now.
So, like, what's the biggest thing that you notice as far as your difference? Because you said you wanted that freedom, and I think like the idea of freedom and entrepreneurship,
Yeah, it's
it
different.
sounds good until you in it and you like, hold on, I'm working way more hours,
Mm-hmm.
I got way more pressure,
Yeah,
and it's nobody here to tell you like you gotta go do that.
exactly. I
Your
think when
bills, besides your bills, like
yeah,
that's
besides your responsibilities, right? Like, I think for me, the idea of freedom was like the freedom of me being able to like do what I want to do. And
mm,
I'm not talking about like wake up when I feel like it or anything like that, because I still am disciplined about getting up at a certain time, being out the house. But like the place that I want to work, maybe I don't want to work right now in the house. I can go to a coffee shop. If I don't want to work in a physical location, I may just walk outside and just start working or something like that. And I think also just the fact that like when you're at a job, sometimes you're confined by policies and confined by like the norms and the routines they have there.
mm,
When I think about freedom, I think about like, okay, there's a problem. How can I use my creative mind to solve it and solve these problems in the like sometimes not the most like I would say the easiest of ways, but or just like the kind of like there's no bureaucracy either. So when I say freedom, just like the freedom to say like, oh, I want to try this. If it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
yeah.
And so like, yeah, I definitely don't have this moment of free time where I'm just like, I'm gonna wake up at 12 o'clock and I'm gonna not work today. Absolutely not. Like I don't even get a chance. My phone is constantly going
Okay.
off. You gotta have meetings. You gotta do all these things. But I think that like now that I'm not confined by like my work schedule, I'm able to really like be a better team leader too. Like I can actually like lead my team in a way that like they've been looking for me to do for a long time. So yeah.
I think that definitely speaks to like your previous job right experience in general because it seemed like your type of roles that you were working in was like a development type role
Yeah.
where I feel like sometimes otherwise you don't have that structure. So if you don't take those policies and all that stuff, and you're like, why do we gotta do this and that? And it's
Yeah.
just like as you get further in your business, like yeah, you kind of need a policy. You kind of need the SOPs in place. You
Yeah.
kind of need these things because you don't want to have to train everybody from start to finish every single time. You want to be able to just go, hey, look, this is the paper that says that.
Yeah.
Like I'm not trying to keep explaining that over and over. So with that freedom comes a lot of liability too, I
Yeah.
think.
A lot of liability, but it also gives me, I think because I've worked in structured environments, because I worked in so my previous experience has been working in entrepreneurial support organizations. And so I think with the structure that gave me allowed for me to like zoom out on my business and think for myself like, oh, this is a weak spot for you. Like you do need to write out all these standard operating procedures. You really do need to
Mm-hmm.
think about like, okay, what are your KPIs, right? Like what are these things that you need to focus in on your business? Because and I will say this, I will say that I don't regret working, right? Because if I didn't actually have like a job, I don't think I would have ever really learned those things of like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, yeah, you really do need these things when you're managing a team. You do need structure, right? Like you do need to be able to figure out like how are you regulating your team, how are you managing performance, like or how are you critiquing performance, right? I recently brought on another intern, or brought on an intern, and just like that's helping me develop to like figure out how do you give feedback in a way that's productive and it's not going to stifle someone's career, right? Like
Yeah.
how do you give
I
feedback?
came out with these sheets. I got like self evaluation sheets for my team, and I got uh evaluation sheets from our point of view as management and stuff too. So I think
Mm,
that definitely helps because I want to know where you feel like you at before I start implementing what I think.
yeah,
Because if I don't know what your why is or why you even here, I think that's a
hard.
big thing about the normal 9 to 5 job when you're in a big robust system that's already in place. I think even with the smaller businesses that you
Hmm.
might work for, you have the direct stream to talk to the person, the upward person. You don't have to wait and say, "Hey, look, I go through all these channels just to get my ideas out there." So now that we are entrepreneurs and we get to do this, I do want to take a step back though because I feel like we skipped over a lot.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
I want to go into that emotional moment for you. Like, what did it feel like that first hour after you quit? You said, I'm not coming here no more. I'm not coming here no more. What is in your mind? Like, what are you thinking about? When you actually clocked out, gave your badge, and that was the last day, you knew, okay, I don't have a check coming every 2 weeks guaranteed no more. Or every week, whatever. I don't know how you got paid. I used
I
to
was
get paid bi
every
weekly.
two I was 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks. I would say like initial initial point was like, what did I just do? Right? Like that was like the first like, oh my God, I really did. With no income, no stream of income set up, no other job set up, just put my letter in, right? Like I ain't just walk out like that. I did give 2 weeks. But I think when I finally realized I was like, oh, I'm on my own, I've had that moment like, yeah, you're on your own, kid, right? Like you gotta figure
Mm-hmm.
this out. It was when I started I think my initial thing was, okay, Brianna, what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses and
Mm-hmm.
how are you going to really hone in on those, right? Like how are you going to build up your weaknesses and really also just go 100% in on your strengths, right? I had a moment and it was, believe it or not, I was in this building because my last day of work was in this building.
Oh, word.
Yeah, it was
Shout
downstairs.
out to the building, that house, Digital Empath Studios.
Yeah, so the last day of work was downstairs. We had an event. And it was at that moment where my marketing associate happened to be there too. She got footage of me and all this stuff. And like it was a moment when I looked over at her and I was just like, I cannot believe I just quit my job. Like I can't believe that was it.
So that was the feeling right
Like
there.
it's like
It was
a
like, oh man, it's real now.
yeah.
And I don't know for you, but I know it wasn't a reality in my world. I'm gonna speak to mine, then let me know how your world went with this.
Mm.
Family and friends that are not entrepreneurs that
Whew,
only been working their whole life,
they don't understand.
they look at you like, "Well, you did
What?
what? Like, so what you gonna do again? Like, so your plan is to hope people show up and do the and support you because I think in some turn sometimes family and friends will support, but they're not going to be your consistent customer. That's just the
Absolutely not.
reality. Not your consistent customer. They might say, "Okay, I like what you're doing. Here go a couple of dollars," and that ain't gonna really do nothing for you long term. So, like, what was your family and friends experience? Because I know mine, when they came, they finally showed up here months later after I opened up the studio, and they came down. They was looking around. They was like, "Oh, okay, this is cool. It's a nice location." And then, like, months go by, a year go by, 2 years go by. You still doing that? Oh,
Mhm.
so your business is not just a little business. Oh, you in a magazine now? Oh, you do what? You got pictures with the governor.
Yeah.
Like, when did you do this? I'm like, remember that thing I told you I was gonna go do? I went and did it.
Yeah, I think when it comes down to that, like my friends understood because my friend I have strategically aligned myself with people who are entrepreneurs or think like entrepreneurs, even if
Mhm.
they're not a full on entrepreneur, they have the entrepreneurial mindset. My family is confused, concerned. I think, but I think for me, because my family got to actually witness me in a job setting and working, and like how it just does not work. Like it did not work for me. It made me miserable. It did not make me happy. When I quit my job and my smile came back, like my mom actually said that, she was like, "Wow, your smile is back. Like you're not frustrated, you're not stressed out anymore." I'm like, "Well, because I'm doing what I really love to do right now." And
Yeah.
so I think like for me it was just moment, it was a moment of like people who knew me felt like, "Oh wow, Breonna is very relieved," right? Like the worry didn't set in because before I actually quit my job, it's like I'd already launched on Amazon. I'd already done a lot of big things while still working full time, that they just kind of like, "Oh, okay, I think she got this, right? I think she probably good." Um, I remember when I first started my business, and I didn't necessarily, people didn't quite get it. They were like, "Oh, you're selling skincare products. That's not a lucrative business." And I'm like, crazy if you think that beauty
Yeah,
industry is
like
not
yeah, the
like
beauty industry
it's
is a
not
crazy
lucrative. It's
lucrative.
crazy lucrative, right? Um, and so I remember when I used to announce that I was an entrepreneur at my little, it was not a little, but like at my scholarship dinner, and people didn't really understand. They're like, "Okay, you were going to college. Like what? Your scholarship was for college." Well, this past like um this past scholarship uh dinner, like so we come back every time to
Mm-hmm.
just say what we're doing in life. Um, when I announced that I'm a CEO, a full time CEO, and that I have a team and things like that, it was literally a standing ovation, and it was just like, "Oh wow, okay." It
Did
kind of
the
gives you
music
a,
come on too? You got the
huh?
music,
No, I didn't get the music come on, but
Oh, the
it did
music
give
got to
me
come on.
like a,
Speech.
but it did give me a moment of just like, oh wow, like not to say other people are watching your journey, and
Yeah.
like sometimes, um, I know I have this conversation. I have this lecture with my mom a lot about like we used to get into it because whenever I would be feeling sad or depressed, she would literally say, "Why don't you stop your business? Why don't you stop?" I'm like, that is just not like
Hey, you should
that.
quit the thing that you like
Like
doing.
I can't quit. Like I cannot quit my job. Like I can't. Like I
And
said,
they
I can
mean,
quit.
I think they mean good,
Yeah, but they don't
but
realize
they
it.
don't understand like the impact of you quitting something that
Yeah,
you've been putting your energy into and that you see a greater thing for.
exactly.
You said something very interesting too. And I think that a lot of us do this in the beginning, and especially in our community, subconsciously we say little.
Uh huh.
We little
Yeah,
we and
little
we and
business, little
then we
this,
hear
little
that
that. Yeah,
being in the background too. We hear that feedback from the outside. So it's like, oh, how's your little business doing? What's going on with your little business?
I'm
Technically, it's
like,
a small business, which is little and
but I ain't
small.
little. We
Can
ain't
be
little though.
they can be synonymous.
Yeah, we got a
So,
small business, not a little
only
business.
because we ain't hit the M's yet.
Yeah, yeah.
According to the government, you gotta have a couple M's for it to
I
be
think it's like an
considered
amp,
not a.
and then over 50 employees. So you got to have
Yeah,
a couple million over 50
I ain't
employees.
mad at it. It gave me something to work too.
Yeah, it did.
But we gotta get rid of that. And I think like establishing how we gotta have key things, or like you mentioned KPIs earlier.
Mm.
And I don't know for everybody out there they know what KPIs is. Can you quickly go into what KPIs are and then briefly give three things that people should probably have in place when they do leave their job?
Ooh. So let me start with KPIs. First of all, this is like a consultant like conversation. It's like
Hey,
you
look,
got to pay. Like
this
I
is
am a
anonymous.
consultant.
This is
You can
anonymous
find.
stuff
You can
right
also
here.
find me at,
This is why y'all should tune in.
yes. All right, so KPIs are key performance indicators. So for a small business or for someone who's starting, your key performance indicators could be your sales, it could be the number of followings you're having, but it's simply some it's a goal that you have that is measurable. So it has to be in numbers and it's something that you can kind of reflect on and see how like cuz your actions can be translated into numbers. So if you say like I want to have 20,000 followers by XYZ date, right? And then you can keep looking and seeing like okay, what's the where how close are we to 20,000 followers? And let's say every 3 months you're checking in. Um so that's what a key performance indicator is. The next question you asked me was
Was three things that like inspiring entrepreneurs or new entrepreneurs should have in place. I'm gonna say inspiring because I'm the person that listening to this right now. Oh, you should pass this along to somebody to listen to or watch us and see how we dripped out today. And the only way you can see that is catch us on YouTube at our channel. But you want to give them some ideas of what they should have in place before they leave their job, like things they should be thinking about
mm,
or have set in place before they put that 2 weeks notice in, before they just walk out because they ain't feeling it today.
right. So one, I would say have a plan. What are you gonna do? So think, what are you gonna do the day that you wake up on that next Monday when you don't have to come to work, right? What is the first thing that you need to get done? Secondly, I would say, um, I know a lot of people are gonna disagree with this, but can I curse?
Hey,
I
you
would
can,
save. I would say save your
unless we want to
ass.
yeah,
I would
I
say
think that's a
yeah.
safe word. That's a they still playing on Fox.
Okay, I would say save your ass, right? Meaning that
Fox, that's
like you
crazy.
do have enough to cover your expenses and your major bills. So make sure that your like major bills are covered at least 1 to 2 months, right? I know people go push in 6 months. I feel like 6 months is too much comfort zone. That's just being being honest with you. Um, and then I would say make sure you have like a business plan. So you can have your plan in your mind what you want to do, but then also what is your business plan? And I really wouldn't quit unless you have revenue generating. Like I'm not saying you gotta have like 20K in sales, but I'm saying have you sold at least 1 or 2 products, like one
Hmm.
or two things, 1 or 2 customers, and then
I agree with you.
be ready to grind.
You need
Get the
some
rest of
money.
them.
You need to have some money on the side at
Yeah, you
least.
gotta have some money on the side. And I'm not saying that it needs to be a lot of money. It just needs some. It needs to be enough money that you do not end up homeless while you are on your grind. That's it. I'm not.
Um,
Don't give yourself too much because then you're gonna be comfortable. Be like, oh, I ain't gotta. I ain't gotta go hard today. Oh, I don't gotta do this
too
today.
much is at your discretion because you know what
Yes.
your bills is like.
Yes. You know what your bills are like. Yes.
I don't know what your lifestyle is like. If you
Yeah.
like taking vacations, hey, have your vacation money saved because you might not get enough for like 2 years in
Yes.
the beginning of this if you ain't planned accordingly. For
Mhm.
me, I would advise people to have some type of planner in place. So similar to what you
Mhm.
said, planning out that time. I like to have at least a yearly planner,
Mhm.
uh, with a notepad on the side because keep notes. If you're at this is for the person that's at work currently, keep notes of why you want to leave.
Yeah.
What are you going to do when you leave? And use your schedule and your planner to actually plan out actionable items. So that moves to my next thing, which is for me actionable items that you can achieve throughout the next year and a half.
Mhm.
Because if you're going to quit, you really thinking about this like, okay, I might need health insurance.
Yes. Are you? Oh my God! Like you're gonna need health insurance, okay? Like figuring it out what that is. Is it if you're in a relationship? Ask your spouse. Like if you're married, ask your spouse. Are you able to put me on your health insurance so that you
Hmm.
don't have to think about health insurance? Because those are the things that like jobs do provide the comfort of and like the cushion for. But like health insurance, dental insurance, visual vision,
Yeah.
those things are going to be on your own. And I know in Maryland, Maryland does offer options for you to get health insurance and things like that. But like that's a real concern.
Yeah, so I mean that's just a part of the stuff that's on your planner. Actionable items being number two, planner, notepad, actionable items that you can actually achieve and hit the benchmarks on to see that you are actually going in the direction you want. Third one for me is normally I would say the financial cushioning, but you already said that one, so I'm gonna try to find something else different for them to have. I would say
I do want to stress
figure
that
out
again
your
though.
why.
Uh-huh.
because that's going to be your North Star for when things are not going the way you would like it to go.
Absolutely.
And it's going to be those moments of things not going with the way you would like it to go. I'm not going to say that means you're going to go broke, your business is going to go out of business, no customers. I'm not going to say none of that stuff is going to happen. But something's going to happen that's not the way you would like it to be.
Mm-hmm.
Have your why figured out and have it handy so you can access it and
Mm-hmm.
review it.
And your why doesn't have to be this grandiose thing, because like my why is like, yes, I love skincare, I love all these things, but my why has a lot more to do with financial freedom and a lot more to do with just freedom overall than it does with just like being super duper passionate about beauty, right? Because I'm gonna wake
Mm.
up some days and
So
just be
hold
like,
on. I don't mean to cut your bill,
ooh,
but should we save that for episode? If y'all want us to talk about our personal why of why
okay,
we do
yes.
why we're doing what we're doing and why we are steadfast in our ideas and this pursuit of the dream or the vision that we have in our mind, let us know. If you can, make sure you like and share this.
Leave a comment
Please
too. Leave
leave a
some
comment.
comments.
Some comments would be nice. Just let us know, like, hey, yo, I like that sweater. Like, come on, you see these flowers on her sweater right there? Like, I like the pink one. Say the one that you like.
Oh,
Leave us something. We appreciate it. And if you can, if you think this is valuable information that we're giving KPIs, we're telling you what you could do when you're about to leave your business for the first time, just leave us a review on Apple or Spotify. If you can do both, hey man, we might have to send you a couple dollars. Might cash app you a couple dollars real quick. But we can't.
that's Lee. I'm not. I'm
I
sorry, I'm not
I
gonna
give you
cash
I
app
give you a
you.
little bit of studio time.
I'm not. I might be giving you some free product, but I don't know about cash apping you. But
Yeah, I might, I ain't say for certain. Let's see. If you feeling generous, I might be feeling generous.
amazing, amazing, amazing. So, anything else you want to add to that?
Um, I don't want to add nothing, but
Because
I don't want to give them too much. I want you to digest this. I want you to give you some time to digest what we're actually giving you insight on because I've been out of 9 to 5 work for the last 3 years.
oh, wow,
And so you getting it from both
for
perspectives. You
me it's
getting it
been three
from,
weeks.
yeah, and then you got it from 3 weeks, 3 years, 3 weeks. I want y'all to feel the levels of growth that you're going to experience and see it not only reflected here, but in yourself. So give yourself some time, some patience. And as we say in our group, let's grow.
Yeah, I had a question for you before we
Yeah.
ended this episode, though. Would you ever go back to 9 to 5?
It's funny that you mentioned that. I had a dream about this the other day.
Okay, I
I
had
don't
a
even know if it was a dream.
dream.
Actually, I think I was having like a regular conversation. I don't know.
Sorry.
But the reason why is because I was sitting there thinking like, what if I had to do a resume right now? Like, what am I going to
Mm-hmm.
be telling them? Like, hey, look, I've been running my business. I'm still continue to run my business. I'm in real estate. I'm in all these different facets of streams of income. I do websites. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing a website for a new restaurant right now.
Cool.
And I have the ability to outsource work and stuff now. So I'm looking at all these different streams. I'm like, well, if I decide I want to go back to work, let's just say I just say, okay, I'm about to have children. So maybe I need to up some things that I want that I think the job does provide. And I
Like
think
the stability,
that's a
yeah.
conversation to have as well.
Yeah, the
Just like
stability.
all the things that jobs do offer you, because I think we overlook that. Like we want the dream of entrepreneurship, but we don't really take time to appreciate everything the job does offer. So for anybody that is listening or watching, please do take that in mind. Like think about what your job is actually offering you, because while you are there building up the muscle, the callus to go forth into your entrepreneurial
Mm-hmm.
journey, I would strongly, and this is a bonus, I would strongly advise you to do some gratitude journaling or note taking.
Mm-hmm.
Just say why you, with all the things the job has afforded you. Maybe it gives you 2 weeks vacation. I can say as an entrepreneur, I don't get paid to be
Yeah.
off.
Yeah.
Now I got people that work with me and for me. I can kind of do that, but that
But you
took a
still not getting
journey.
paid just to
I'm
be
not
off though.
getting paid directly to be off. If I get sick in the beginning, I
Yeah.
just got sick. I don't get paid and be like, I'm not feeling well. So take in consideration all of those small things that you have. But also the other bonus to this was I would advise people that's before they quit their job to actually take a step into their journey. So similar to what you was doing,
Yeah.
actually do the side hustle first before you become full time, part time.
Yeah.
Be a part time and see if you really like what you're doing, and then you get to see if the model works long term or if it can grow. I think that's a big thing. So I'm
Yeah.
glad you stopped me because
Yeah.
I think that's necessary.
Yeah, I agree. Like I think because I've been contemplating, I'm like, do I want to go back to working or something? Because I could like, I mean, I don't really want to, but I know for me, a big portion of something I'm passionate about is teaching entrepreneurship, right? So like, I think in my last 3 roles at jobs, I've taught entrepreneurship
So let's do a
or
workshop.
did programming for entrepreneurs. Yeah, I'm not doing it for free,
No,
but
I ain't tell you do it for free.
okay, great. I'm not doing it for free because that was another thing that I realized is
Every
like
They say transformation without transaction is dead.
absolutely right. I can help you, but I know for sure that the days of me doing it for free or underpaid, that's over. Because like that was another factor that went into my like me quitting my job because it was like I had all this experience and I had all this experience in entrepreneurship and teaching entrepreneurship as well as just entrepreneurial programming. But then when I looked at my paycheck, I was like, y'all are not paying me what I'm actually worth, like, or what I'm actually what this would you would have to go out into the market and pay for somebody to do this. And so I was like, that's another thing for me. It's just like, um, because I've taught entrepreneurship at the collegiate level as well, and so like I've been an advisor for people like for entrepreneurial programs at universities, and so I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna be struggling and doing this. It's gonna have to be one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah,
Nah, I feel you. It's just so much to take in. But I think
absolutely,
we should definitely have a conversation offline about, doing some workshops and
definitely,
webinars and all that good stuff. We're going to have future episodes about different streams of income from the current things that we also offer. And that might be for us directly or for you guys as insight of things that you can do. So until then, tell a friend about us. Make
yes,
sure they know about us.
and be sure to eat after work. Entrepreneurs Anonymous talks.
After work, let's go.
Peace.